Just 2 minutes waiting for everyone to join, and then I'll discuss this weekly homework related to chapter topic periodic table. Okay, MCQs mention the doubts from chapter from question 1 to 10. Any doubt? The topic is periodic table. This is a weekly homework. From question 1 to question 10. No doubt from 1 to 10. In question number 1, where in the periodic table is the metallic character of element increases? Means where we will find more metals, to the left or the right of a periodic table. When you check the periodic table, I will show you the periodic table as well. So in a periodic table, on the left hand side, we will find mostly metals, and on the right hand side, we will find mostly non-metals. So where the elements are more metallic on the left hand side. And what about the metallic character? Because as we go down the group, the metal tend to lose electron easily because their size is getting bigger. So as the size increase, the metal can lose electron easily. So they're more metallic at the bottom. So options which are given here. So left or right of a periodic table, where we have more metallic, we have more in left. And top or bottom, so we have more metallic at the bottom. That's why A is the right answer. Some properties of 4 elements P, Q, R, and S are shown. 2 of these elements are in group 1. So 2 of the elements are in group 1 and 2 are in group 7. So first we will identify from their properties which one is in group 7 and which one is in group. So because group 1 are all metals, so this cannot be group 1, so definitely this is group 7. So S is a group 7 element. Group 1 metals, they react vigorously, violently, explosively with water. So this shows that this is group 1 and R is also group 1 because both of them are reacting with water. For R, it is explosive reaction. So which is more reactive? It means R is more reactive than P. And for group 1, as we go down the group, the reactivity increases. So what it shows that P is above and R is below. How we identify this? Because the way they are reacting with water. R is having an explosive reaction with water, where P is vigorous reaction with water. So first we identify that P is less reactive and R is more reactive. Now the categories are vigorous, violent, explosive. Vigorous, violent, and explosive. This is a way which determine the rate or the speed of reaction. So in this question, P and R both are reacting with water, and the reaction, the R is having a explosive reaction, P is having a vigorous reaction. So this one is P and this one is R. It shows that R is more reactive than P. And for group 1, as we go down the group for group 1, the reactivity increases, so R is below P. And what about group 7? Q does not react with water as dissolved, giving a colored solution. For the state we can identify, because for group 7, as we go down the group, the first two elements of group 7 are gas, then liquid, and then solid. So they mention S is a liquid, so S will be here, and R is a solid, so R will be, sorry, Q is the solid, so Q will be down. Is it clear? Because as we go down the group, the state changes. First are gases, then it is liquid, and then it is solid for group 7. Now you have to check the options, the statements. When you check the statement, P is below R, P is not below R, so this is not correct. Q is above R, Q and R are not in a group 1, so this cannot be an answer. Q is below S and both are in group 7. So Q is below S, you can see here Q is below S and both belongs to group 7. Is it clear? Discussion number 2. So from the properties, you have to identify the group first, and identifying the group, then you will identify the position in the group, because P is reacting with water, R is reacting with water, they are in group 1. And R is having an explosive reaction and P is having a vigorous reaction. So R should be below and P should be up, because as we go down in group 1, the reactivity increases for group 1. And the state, so what it shows, the other two are group 7. They mentioned 2 of them are in group 7 and 2 of them are in group 1. So the other group 7, so for group 7, first they are gases, then liquid, and then solid. So gas, gas, liquid, solid. What does it mean? If it is solid, so Q is below and S is above. And density increases as we go down. That's why. Anyone else having a doubt from 1 to 10?
Sir, question number 12.
Okay. Mention in the chat so I will remember, because sometime when I'm discussing, so better mention in a chat. Okay, question number 12. Some properties of substance X are listed. Means some of the properties are given for the substance. It conducts electricity in molten state. It has a high melting point. It burns in oxygen. The product dissolve in water to make a pH 11, means make a solution alkaline. What could be this substance? It's a covalent, it cannot be a covalent compound. Why it cannot be a covalent compound? Because covalent compound does not conduct electricity. Then it's a macromolecule, a giant structure such as diamond, graphite, and silicon 4 oxide. But diamond and graphite cannot be an answer, because in the question it is conducting in a molten state. If it's a, now you're left with two options, either it can be a metal or it will be ionic compound. But the right answer is metal. Why the right answer is metal? Because if you read the third point, they mention it burns in oxygen. So when metal burned in oxygen, metal plus oxygen will give metal oxide. And this metal oxide dissolve in water. If you add water, it will form metal hydroxide. And metal hydroxides are alkali. That's why it will make a solution alkaline. Is it clear? So you have to check the properties, and using a properties you can identify that what could be a substance. So metal reacted with oxygen gives metal oxide. When you dissolve metal oxide in water, it will make a metal hydroxide, which makes the solution alkaline. Question 13. Substance X react with hydrochloric acid, produce a gas which decolorize the acidified potassium manganate 7. When you add hydrochloric acid and a gas given off which turned acidified potassium manganate 7, so what it means? It means it contains sulfite ion. Sulfite means SO3. This is a test for sulfite ion. Adding a hydrochloric acid and warm the solution, the gas turned potassium manganate from pink to colorless or purple to colorless. And then a substance X give a yellow flame. The yellow flame is because of sodium, Na. So what is this substance? Because of flame test, we identified is sodium, and this is a test for sulfite ion. So it is what? It is sodium sulfite. D is the right answer. In question number 7, the table gives information of 4 elements P, Q, R, and S. Which element could be transition? To be a transition element, it should have a colored compound, it should have high density, and it should conduct electricity as well. So melting point, this is where low melting point, these two are low melting point. So P and Q cannot be an answer. You're left with R and you're left with S. Metal can conduct electricity in solid state, but this substance is not conducting electricity. So this cannot be a transition element. So what you are left with? You are left with S only, which is a transition element. In question 16, why are weather balloons sometimes filled with helium rather than hydrogen? Both hydrogen and helium are lighter than air. If you have a balloon which is filled with hydrogen and a balloon which is filled with helium, both are lighter than air, so these balloons will rise. So that's not the reason. Because of density, we don't use both of them. Why we use? Because hydrogen is reactive, hydrogen can catch fire, it's flammable, where helium is unreactive, does not react. So if a balloon filled with hydrogen, it will rise. The balloon filled with helium, that will also rise. Both are lighter than air, both balloons will rise, but because hydrogen is flammable, it can catch fire. That's why a balloon filled with helium is suitable. So helium is unreactive, that's why we don't use. And when you compare the density, hydrogen density is less than helium density. Anyone else having a doubt from 1 to 16? Oh, sorry, 11 to 16? In question 17, a metal X is added to a colorless aqueous solution of sulfate of metal Y. So metal Y sulfate is there, and we add metal X. This sulfate is colorless. So if a compound is colorless, so means that Y is not a transition element. Why? How we can identify? Because if it's a white substance or a colorless substance or a compound is colorless, the metal is there, but the compound is white or a colorless solution. It shows that this element or the metal which is present in the compound is not a transition element, because the transition element, they always form colored compounds. So this element Y is not a transition element. How we identify? Because they mention that colorless aqueous solution is there. Now, what happened? A colored solution is formed in a metal Y is deposit. So basically, X is more reactive, so X will displace this Y, and it will form X sulfate plus Y. And now when it forms X sulfate, you can see they form a colored solution. So whenever a solution is colored, so the metal which is present in the solution should be a transition element, because the transition element have a tendency to form a colored compound. So in a question, type of element, which element is a transition element? X is a transition element. And which is more reactive because X is able to displace Y. So X is more reactive than Y. So when the compounds, their solutions are colorless, or they are white solid in a then we call them as non-transition element, group 1, 2, or 3. But if a solution is there, a salt solution is there, if it form a colored solution, or if a colored solid is there, it means the metal which is present is a transition metal. (21 to 30), any doubt? From question 21 to question 30. In question 22, an aqueous sodium hydroxide react with aqueous solution of compound Y. It give a green precipitate. And aqueous ammonia also reacted with aqueous solution of compound Y. It also gives a green precipitate. So when it is giving a green precipitate, which metal ion is present with green precipitates? No, if it is chromium, then it will form a green solution. First, it will form green precipitate, which will dissolve to form a green solution. But here it is only forming a green precipitate, not green solution. So that shows it is iron 2. Because in each case, the precipitate insoluble, does not dissolve. So whenever you add sodium hydroxide and it form a green precipitate and precipitate does not dissolve, it means it is iron 2. Anyone else? Doubt from 21 to 30?
Sir, are all the metals at the bottom of the table solid?
All the
metals at the bottom of the table.
Which
solid?
table?
A periodic table.
All the metals are solid except mercury.
Okay.
All metal exists, like except mercury, all of them are solid. Question 24. Atomic number of element is 117 and it's a man-made and it is below astatine. What is the expected state at room temperature? State they are asking, like state can be solid, liquid, or gas. So how you can identify for group 7? When you check group 7 elements, so fluorine is gas, chlorine is gas, bromine is liquid, iodine is solid, astatine is solid. So if any man-made or artificial element is there, if there's another artificial element is discovered, what will be the state of this? As we go down, the density increases. So this one is gas, liquid, solid. So unknown element, it will also be a solid. And how the group, these elements exist in nature. They exist as a diatomic. So what will be the state of this substance? It will be solid. Anyone else having a question related to from 21 to 30? Question? Anyone having a question from 21 to 30? Then 31 to 40. From question 31 to question 40. Anyone having a doubt? No doubt from 31 to 40. Then from 41 to 52. Any doubt from question 41 to question 52? $33. In question 33, a compound T was added to hydrochloric acid and is warmed. Adding a hydrochloric acid and warm the solution. This is a test for sulfite ion. If you want to identify sulfite ion formula is SO3 with a charge -2. So the mixture gives off the gas which turn acidified or aqueous acidified aqueous potassium manganate from purple to colorless. So this confirms that there is a sulfite ion. And a flame test gives a lilac flame. It's for potassium. So we identify it contains potassium, it contains sulfide. So this compound is potassium sulfide. So 33D is the answer, right answer. Any other question or doubt? Test for sulfate is barium nitrate. You add barium nitrate, if it form white precipitate, then it is sulfate. Sulfate is SO4 and the test is add barium chloride or barium nitrate. But for sulfite, we add hydrochloric acid, heat it and test with potassium manganate 7, which will turn from purple to colorless. Or it can be pink to colorless depending on the concentration of potassium manganate. Anyone else having a doubt in this periodic table homework? Any question? MCQs? If no doubt, then I will start discussing the test paper. Okay, so electricity and chemistry test paper. Anyone having a doubt in MCQs can mention. This is a test. This was a test. Electrolysis and chemical cell. Anyone having a doubt in MCQs? 1, 3, and 4. In question number 1, which reaction could take place at anode? Anode is the positive terminal. So positive terminal always attract the negative ions. So these two are positive ions, they cannot move towards anode. Why they cannot move towards anode? Because you can see they are positive ions. Positive ions are not attracted towards anode. Positive ions are attracted towards cathode. So means this could not happen. So the hydroxide ion can move or chloride ion can move. So what could be the right answer which can take place at anode? The negative ions can be attracted. So 1 and 2. Then question 3. The diagram shows electrolysis of zinc chloride and it is molten. So when it is molten zinc chloride, there is a zinc ion present and there is a chloride ion also. Zinc is a positive ion attracted towards cathode. So zinc ion attracted towards cathode will take 2 electron, change to zinc atom. Whenever something will gain electron, we call reduction. So this reduction happens. And chloride ions are negative ions, they are attracted towards the positive. So when chloride ion, they will lose 2 electrons and change to chlorine molecule. What we call that as oxidation, because oxidation is a loss of electron. This is a loss of electron and this one is a gain of electron on the right hand side. So oxidation occur at X and the equation for this oxidation is the chloride, because I can write the same equation. If it is -2, other side it will be +2. So the same equation can be written Cl2 plus 2 electrons. So oxidation occur at electrode X. Oxidation occur at electrode X and the equation is 2 chloride ion will form a chlorine molecule and they will lose 2 electrons. And question number 4. The diagram shows the method used to copper plate a pan. Which equation represent the reaction at cathode? So which equation represent, because what happened? Copper ions which are present in the electrolyte are attracted towards the pan, the negative terminal. So when they are attracted, the copper ions will gain 2 electrons and change into copper atom. So they will stick with to the pan. This is the equation for cathode. And what will be equation of anode? The copper atom will go inside the solution as a copper ion by loss of electrons. So this will be equation for anode and this is equation for cathode. Any doubt in question number 6? C2. Suggest a test. Suggest a result of testing a gas. Basically, it is lead to bromide, so it will release a bromine vapors or bromine gas. Halogens. These halogens have a tendency to bleach the litmus, means remove the color. So if bromine is there, it will bleach the litmus. It's same like chlorine. Suggest why iron is not used as electrode, because iron is reactive metal. It will react. If we always prefer to use less reactive metal as an electrode, such as platinum or inert non-metal, which is graphite? So the answer here, because the metal, they tend to react, so we always prefer a less reactive metal. Suggest a reason why iron is not used as electrode. Because iron is reactive, it might react with a solution. The brown gas was bromine, and the result suggests the result of testing a gas with a damp blue litmus, so it will bleaches. Question number 7, anyone having a doubt? Question 7. Six part A. Give one expected observation. When you do electrolysis, a metal is deposited at the negative, so you'll see a shiny solid form, and you will observe bromine is there, so brown vapors are also released. 7B, D, and E. Give one observation. So whenever a gas is given off, when you are doing electrolysis, hydrogen and oxygen gases are given off. So whenever gases are given off, you will observe bubbles at electrode. So you can mention bubble at cathode or bubble at anode, or the lamp will light up. Suggest a suitable metal for the inert metal electrode. So which metal is suitable? Platinum. If it was a non-metal, then graphite is suitable. Then give a test for oxygen gas. What is the test for oxygen gas? Glowing splint, it will relight. Why does hydrogen forms at negative electrode? What's the reason why hydrogen